Let me fix this again. Hey, Miss Therapist Tori, how are you doing this evening?
I am good. I'm good. How are you this Friday?
I'm good. I'm here. Thank God it's Friday. and
Yes,
looking forward.
TGIF.
Yep,
I've been
looking
waiting
forward
on
to it.
Friday all week.
Yes, ma'am. Agreed. So, where do we go from here? I know there's a lot that's going on, but we stick with the course of where we're going. First and foremost, thank you everyone for joining us tonight on Living the Abundant Life with Therapist Tori. And we are excited to just share more information to give you an opportunity to gain some mental freedom and some peace in your life. And ultimately, that's what we want is everyone to have a stress-free life. And however we can help, that's what we're here for. Let me see here. We got D Ray in the building. What's up, my brother?
Hey, D-Ray.
He's already here. Awesome. Oh, let me take care of that.
Is,
Okay, so go ahead.
is that the one that picks at you all the time?
Just like you, yeah.
Yeah,
He
you
is.
make it so fun. That's why.
I think that's what it is. I make it too easy. I wanted to ask you, what did you think? Did you notice this?
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
like that.
that's a little
Cool, cool.
something I decided to add, and that's gonna also be on the other podcast, which at 7:30 for the grown-up adult talk. It is the Party and Purpose, starring Miss Party and Miss Purpose, if you will. That's Miss Lady and TT. So check it out. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Central. So check it out.
Yes. Fun,
And
fun, fun.
of course, who me? Yeah. Okay. This is why I'm here to get therapists, get therapy for this. Anywho, let's start from scratch. What is the topic for tonight? That
Well,
right.
I work with a lot of couples, and so one of the things I've been hearing quite a bit is dealing with issues of intimacy, um, emotional intimacy, and physical intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, there's a pretty good TED Talk on YouTube. I forgot the name of the doctor that's doing the TED Talk, but the topic is sexless marriage. Um, I'm not going to talk about the TED Talk,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there's I think a lot of couples are dealing with a lack of intimacy
Mm-hmm.
in relationships, and so I think a lot of that. I think sex starts to be affected when the emotional intimacy
Mm.
decreases. Yeah,
Okay,
if that makes sense.
it does. Can can the emotional intimacy be the air of the physical intimacy, meaning the lack of air in that physical, or excuse me, the lack of air in the emotional can kill the physical. In that other words,
Oh yeah, yeah,
really.
big time, big
Mm-hmm.
time. Um, and it can, I think for some people, it starts before, like if there's a married couple, I think a lot of this can start before the person even gets married.
Mm-hmm.
There may be things, um, principle wise, that are different with each person, and they don't really deal with those different principles or priorities before getting into the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people just think it's going to work out automatically. um
Yeah, D Ray, you done gave all your business out. I'm sorry, Miss Tori. Go ahead.
but yeah, I think sometimes people just think it's going to work
Mm-hmm.
itself out, and it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then before long, you're avoiding each other. You don't touch each other. You don't talk to each other.
Mm.
We become roommates,
Mm.
and And matter of fact, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. You know, I mean that
Right.
can and does happen. So
Mm. Wow.
um, yeah, so it's just I've noticed that it has been coming up a lot, and
Hmm.
so I thought it would be a good topic for the show to talk
Indeed.
about. Um, where are we when it comes to physical and emotional intimacy? Um, where does the disconnect start to happen?
Hmm.
Um, so with with some clients, I've noticed like um, there can be differences in whether or not they want to have children. Um, there I've even seen situations where one person wants a child or wants children, the other
Hmm.
partner doesn't, and
Hmm.
they think at some point in the relationship that it's going to change. You
Mm.
know,
Right.
like at some point you're going to want to have a kid. Like you're going to change your mind about this.
Hmm.
And when that doesn't happen, I mean, of course, there can be a lot of discouragement that comes from that. So,
Gotcha. Now, we know that emotional intimacy can lead to the physical intimacy. Can physical intimacy increase the emotional intimacy?
I think so. I think it depends on how much or how important physical intimacy is to the relationship. Now, because
Mhm.
everybody has differences when it comes to that. Like, and what I mean by that, like one person can be very sexual
Mhm.
or a couple can be very sexual, and that is a very important part of their relationship.
Right.
But that's not the case for all relationships. Some people, both partners are very content with
Mhm.
only having sex once or twice a month, you know.
Right.
Um, so I think it just depends
Mhm.
on the dynamic in the relationship and how important sex is.
Let's see. Miss Carla said that recently happened to someone close to me, and they are now divorced. Mm.
Oh, yeah. Well, that probably means that sex was pretty important, and then they never addressed it, and then
Mm.
you know they just gave up. I mean, I don't know what the situation was, but
All right. So let's help those who are struggling. They're in a relationship. They may be strong in the physical intimacy, but weak in the emotional intimacy. What can be done to revive or strengthen that area that they are weak in?
well, now if the well, it kind of depends. I mean, I would definitely recommend like doing some couples therapy
Mm-hmm.
or even talking specifically to a sex therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because if the emotional intimacy is fine, but there's struggles when it comes to the bedroom, and that could be for a lot of reasons. I mean, it could be because one person may have some trauma
Mm-hmm.
related to sex, or it could be one person has a porn addiction,
Mm.
and they feel like the only way they can um, express themselves is through pornography or the use of
Mm.
pornography.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a variation of issues that can come up, but I would definitely suggest doing.
Oops, the old Matrix. We'll give her a second, guys. Mm-mm-mm. Yep, it's the old lovely Matrix comes to pay a visit, I guess, once in a while. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that is here checking out the podcast. Glitches happen all the time. So, what I'm going to do to let Miss Tori reset so she can come back in, we're going to go ahead and do the Blast Artist of the Week. And the Blast Artist is the Divine Favor Project. And the song is Keep On Moving. So let's check it out.
They fought for what they knew was right, so that we all would one day see the light. They marched through the streets, they marched in the field. Some were beaten, some were even killed. So many in graves they laid, so many debts we never could repay. How could we ever look our children in the eye if we're just gonna let the dream die? Sometimes it makes me want to cry when we sit back and we don't even try. Our ancestors pay the price so that you and I could live and not die. Keep on marching, 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 keep marching, keep on marching. When we know what we're really fighting for, the struggle should not have to be like war. Let's come together in these streets. Let's come together peacefully. Keep on marching, 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 keep on marching. Marching on, keep holding on.
Yes, indeed. That is the Divine Favor Project featuring Meek. And that song is called Keep On Moving. And if you are also interested in gaining exposure, whether you be a musical artist or a comedian, spoken word, whatever it may be, go ahead and go to blastmusic247.com, register as an artist, and it is completely free. So please go ahead and register at blastmusic247.com. Ooh, Miss Tori is having issues with her internet today, ladies and gentlemen. So be patient and things will get better. Yeah, I love that song too, Miss Carla. Yes, indeed. Let me put some music up in here. Give me a second so we can keep going. So definitely feel free to give any questions that you guys may have. We are talking about, like what I like to say is the constant battle between emotional and physical intimacy. And therapist Tori was talking about it, but of course the internet is not playing fair at all for her today. It's Friday. What can I say? But we are here. Definitely have your questions ready, and we'll definitely get those together. And we thank you for tuning in. So be patient, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be back shortly. So yes, indeed. Guess I should turn the music up since I ain't got much to say, do I? Let's see. So yeah. Everyone just relax and she'll be back as soon as possible. Don't be laughing at me, Miss Carla. Okay. All right, so give me a bit, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna put up another song, and let's just say your boy was not ready, but you know that's how things go. Stuff happens, especially with internet issues, but we're gonna get it right. All right, so what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play another one of our blast artists. His name is Elijah Rosario. Very talented young man. This song is called Aura. Check it out.
Should've known, baby. Should've known, baby. Should've known, baby. Should've known. Should've known. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you. Wanna get to know you. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you. Wanna get to know. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you. Wanna get to know. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you. Wanna get to know. I'm digging your style. I love it when you smile. Any room you walk into, girl, you always shut it down. Got a Coke bottle shape. When you walk, I see it shake. Wanna take it off display. Come and take a ride with me. Girl, if you just give me time, I'll enhance your mind. If I brought you flowers for no reason, would you mind? Make love just how you want it. Cook breakfast every morning. Before you go to work, we get it poppin', got you moaning. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you. Wanna get to know you. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you. Wanna get to know. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know. I need you in my life, 'cause the way you make me feel, all these butterflies. I said I want you as my own, please let it be known I'm chasing you. 'Cause I'll follow you through heaven and hell just to be close to you. It's all I wanna do, yeah. 'Cause you know it's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know you. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know you. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you, 'cause it's your, 'cause it's your. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know you. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know. It's your mind, it's your wave, it's your aura. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know. By the way you work those hills, you be dressed to kill. Wanna get to know you, wanna get to know.
All righty. Third time's the charm, huh?
Yes, sir. I've
No
not
worries.
had any issues all day long, and then but
Of course. You are bringing something life altering to people. Of course, there's going to be technical issues. No worries. Everyone, thank you for being patient. Technical issues are just a part of the job, but we are here and we're here to help encourage you. So
yeah,
let me start off with this for you. What are some examples of emotional intimacy you've seen in couples?
or emotional intimacy issues.
Issues as well as issues and things that they can help to improve in that area.
Well, I think it comes into play like when we're talking about, and we probably mentioned this before, past issues of trauma, communication problems, and it's sometimes the way that we interpret and filter, because we all have a filter, right? I mean, the filter of past experience, and it always comes up. And so in working with couples, it's like one of the things that we practice quite a bit is couples dialogue. And I may have mentioned this before, but so dialogue, mirroring, validation, and empathy. And so I've noticed, like, in working and practicing, having people practice couples dialogue, you realize that the message that one partner is sending is not the message that the other partner is receiving. And, to be honest with you, it can be very, very tedious to try to slow down communication. And it's like, okay, wait, stop. Say a couple of sentences and then stop.
Okay.
Now, mirror back what you just heard your partner say.
Right.
And sometimes in that process, you learn that the message that they received is not the message that the other partner sent. Okay. And so what happens is I'm listening to what you're saying, and it's being filtered through maybe an old narrative, or it's being filtered through something that I've experienced before, or fear, or angst, so, and sometimes we don't even realize that it's happening. We don't even realize that this filtering process is happening. And we think that we're hearing accurately, but we're really not. And so, as we slow down, communication and take time to respond versus react, then you begin to realize, okay, yeah, that's not the same thing that I said,
Right.
So
I got you.
So it can, the reason I'm bringing that up is because it can create a barrier, an emotional barrier, a communication barrier. And so in that, sometimes we begin to shut down instead of, okay, let's work with this. Let's keep going. Because sometimes our natural tendency is to give up. No, I don't want to do this because
Right.
it doesn't feel good. It's taking too long. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. Forget about it.
So it can actually be a point that because of no maintenance to improve it, that distance of too long could cause the relationship they just give up. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, and it's not just, this can happen in all of our relationships, right? It may be even some work situations where we realize that I'm having some difficulty communicating with this person, and it could be their communication style. It could be, even people that you work with can trigger, old stuff, and you don't even, it's not like you trying to be triggered. You might not even realize that it's happening. But, so this translates to, all relationships, but I know specifically we're talking romantic because we're talking about physical and emotional intimacy. So I would just encourage people, don't give up. Just like we didn't give up on this internet stuff today.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Don't quit. Sometimes that's what we want to do. We want to give up. We want to quit because, and I know I've been in that place because I'm frustrated.
Right.
And maybe things are not happening, or they're not happening as quickly as I would like it to. And so, sometimes that natural tendency is, okay, let's just drop it. But it's like, no, don't. And I'm not saying, you may run into times where it's not like the best time to talk or the best time to process things, and that's fine. So I'm not saying push the issue when it's not a good time, but I am saying you can wait and come back, and we can talk about it at another time. As they said, cooler heads prevail.
Yeah.
So that's always the the best mode of operation, I think.
Everyone has a different dynamic on dealing or confronting to fix an issue. And I'm the type of person that if there's an issue, I want to take care of it now. And that doesn't always work with someone when they need time to either cool off or need to be able to think straight of everything that went down. So I understand those dynamics have to be into place too. So people
I used to, I used to do that. Oh no, you gonna talk about it now. You gonna talk about it right now. I don't care if you don't want it. So, obviously, no, that's not good. That is, that's the worst because, sometimes we can be, disrespectful of somebody else's space. And I, to be honest with you, it took me some time to learn, like, there are times where I tell myself, okay, Victoria, just be quiet. Just be quiet. You don't, and not quiet as in I'm not responding or I'm being disrespectful, but let me just be quiet to give myself time to process. You know, right now, what I say might not be an accurate representation of what I feel. So, you know, giving myself time to respond instead of just being reactive, I think is the best thing to do, you know.
Okay. So, if I'm correct, you said that you enjoy couples therapy or helping couples. What is the enjoyment that you get out of helping couples?
I think it's challenging, you know. I mean, you know, it's already challenging working with one person. But when you're working with a relationship, it's a different dynamic. And sometimes it's still like individual therapy, because one partner may need to take a little extra time during the session to work something through. So in that aspect is similar, but you know, the challenging part is to get people to kind of recognize the dynamic of their relationship, you know, and to recognize patterns, you know, like when certain things are brought up, there's a pattern, like, you know, for example, finances, money, you know, that's something people often are on a different page about. And that is something that can ultimately affect physical intimacy. You know, if we're realizing that we see the picture, you know, the picture of how we deal with money, if we see that differently, or we have a different set of priorities when it comes to that, and we're realizing that, I mean, oftentimes people feel like, well, you should feel like I feel, or you should do things the way I do things. And if you don't, then that's a problem. That means we got major conflict, you know. I don't know. Am I losing my train of thought?
Kill everything as you go. No, that's fine. Because the main thing is you just said you enjoy the challenge.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because some people are intimidated by a challenge, especially of that kind of magnitude. Because I'm sure you've seen some doozies that made you even say, "What did I get myself into?" Have you ever had one of those?
Oh, that I felt that way?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I ever felt that way. I mean, I think sometimes I can feel other people's frustration, and I know that they're wanting something, and they're wanting to work through something that's very difficult. And you know, you can it's like you can see the wheels turning, and you see it happening, but they're not quite there yet. And it's like there's a part of you that just wants to jump, you know, like I want to jump in the middle and, you know, work it out and make you understand what the other person is saying. And sometimes it just takes time, you know. And I ask people, like, please be patient with yourself and be patient with each other, you know.
That P word is a cuss word to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Because patience, what?
Like, don't tell me to be patient.
You know, the funny thing with patience, like in my case, I've actually having the battle of, you know, working out and trying to lose weight, and you still have to have a sense of patience with that by doing your part, and then the results will come. But it's when those results come is the part of the patience. So it's just frustrating sometimes. So even I'm sure I've done counseling before,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels like one side is willing to be committed to it and the other is kind of flippant, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
frustrating, big time. Sorry, I got all these things open.
Uh,
But um has there ever been a therapy that you did for couples where it felt like one was trying to have you pull sides? You know what I mean by that? Like be on the side of the
mhm.
woman or the male.
Oh, all the time. All the time. I mean, people are always jockeying for sides. Whose side are you taking? And
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I make sure that I do working with couples especially is to give both parties eye contact. I don't,
Okay.
I don't want anybody to feel like, because I'm not here to take sides, and I tell people, listen, I'm not going home with you.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Y'all got to go home. I don't. So,
Right.
I'm not here to take sides or, anything like that. Now I may invest a little bit more time trying to explain what I'm hearing, like if
Yeah.
if one person is expressing themselves and the other person isn't getting it, and I feel like I can help with that understanding, yes, I'll do that. But no, taking sides,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to let them know there is no side. There is no right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where a lot of people get locked up is, well, I'm right
Mm-hmm.
and you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's
Some.
just the way that it is.
Mm-hmm. I know that in sometimes in an argument, a person would rather be more right than benefit the relationship or how to better the relationship rather than being right.
Hmm.
And I've been there. That's just in some cases that's just being a knucklehead and an you know, ego stroke. It's like I would rather have peace more than me being right, if you will.
Hmm.
I love peace, so I'll take peace anytime. Peaceful household is a blessing. Let me just lay this up here. D Ray
Okay.
says somebody remind therapist Tori that his Jedi skills can be uncontrollable sometimes. His bad. So he's the culprit of your internet issues.
Oh, okay. Just let him know. Yeah, D-Ray, I'm letting you know. I will jack you up.
Good grief.
I know. Well, that was kind of violent. Never mind.
Now the claws come out. Okay.
Right.
So let me
Uh,
ask you this. Is there a
yeah.
way individually for a person to know if they have emotional intimacy issues? Or is it only really show during a relationship?
Um, I mean, I think it shows up in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it shows up in all of your interactions, whether you're at the store, whether you're
Mm,
at work, whether you're at
good point.
home, you
Good point.
know,
Mm-hmm.
it can show up in a lot of ways. And, if there are several people in your life space who are letting you know that there's some issues there, then it's like, well, maybe I should look at that. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I should examine that a little closer and not feel like, oh, you're just out to get me. You just want to attack me. You just want to talk down to me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, sometimes we need to really look at how we're expressing certain things to people that we love. But um, yeah, I think it shows up in a lot of different ways, Um, and I've heard some very healthy things from couples as well. Like we don't go to bed angry. And I know, like, I used to hear that a lot growing up from older people, like, we don't go to bed angry. And there's still people today that practice that. We don't go to bed angry with each other. We don't do that. You know, if there's something that we need to table and there's something that we still need to process and talk about, then we have the confidence in knowing that it is going to be addressed. And we don't have to allow that to affect the bedroom.
Right. Like I said, maintaining that peace and simple things of choosing not to go to bed angry. I feel that. I think Miss Lady is still responding to your response to D-Ray. So that's what that was. Indeed.
I'm going to try not to be violent.
At least not on film, right?
Not on camera. No.
Hold on a second. Let me see here. Relationship reality is hard, Miss Carla says.
Yeah.
Mr. Aaron sends his love. Okay. Well, we definitely shared a lot of good stuff.
So, what about you, Troy? Has conflict ever affected how you feel about physical intimacy?
I have to seriously think of it only because your boy been through some things. I've had someone describe me as a worn battleship, and I can relate to that. And he says even though there may be a lot of exterior damage, the functionality of that battleship is still to sail, go forward, and conquer. So I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. No. Thank you. No. I thought of something.
Okay. I know I put you on the spot.
No. It's cool. It's cool. I could take it. When it comes to intimacy, emotional intimacy, I think there is definitely room for improvement. Definitely towards, the relationship I have with my spouse, which I've had my own certain thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But normally I don't have a problem expressing how I feel. But I'm sure there's still some dynamic that may be lost in translation, if you will. Because I may say I don't have nothing to hide, but indirectly I might be, biting my tongue about something.
Well, I mean, has there ever been a situation where you got upset and consequently didn't feel as emotionally close to that person? Did it create distance?
Definitely with my mom. Yeah. Our situation is definitely a work in progress. And a lot of it had to do with the bipolar disorder, because the first manic episode, we didn't know what was going on, You get blindsided by it. And then when my mom was, I hate to put it this way, but all together, or herself, is when we had the opportunity to sit down and talk about things that happened and let her understood some actions I had to take to make sure she was straight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the closeness that we used to have, I was a mama's boy. And that not automatically, but through time separated that term from me with her. And for whatever reason, when she did have manic disorder, she was at odds with me, and I don't know why, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it just
I don't think that was you. I mean, I don't think that was you. I think that was whatever she was experiencing at that particular time.
Right.
and oftentimes, the people closest to you are the ones who kind of are affected the most, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do.
Go off on people, closest to you.
Yep.
But you know what? You brought up like a really, really good point when you brought up your mom, because I think our parents are where we first learn about emotional intimacy. I mean,
Right.
they are our first experience when it comes to emotional and physical. Of course, I'm not talking about sex.
Right.
Um,
But just more or less
but
the affection and touching and stuff
yeah,
like that.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like we learn about, you know, how that happens from our family dynamic,
Mhm,
like, and
mhm,
especially what you see with your parents' relationship. Do you see affection and love and hugging and kissing, you
mhm.
know, or do you see strife and distance and separation,
Right. Right.
So that has, a big impact on us as adults and how we go about having romantic relationships in our life,
Mhm.
because the romantic relationship parallels the caregiver relationship,
Mhm. Mhm.
meaning
Right.
our original caregivers, our parents. So,
Mhm.
that's one of the things that I quite often ask people to kind of look at more closely, and how does that affect the way that you deal with your partner and your spouse. So,
Mhm. Gotcha. So D
mhm.
Ray says, please talk about the blind side when issues come out of nowhere in relationships.
Blindside.
Something you don't
um,
expect, but the issues come out of nowhere.
yeah, I think issues can come out of no, I mean, when we first meet somebody, we putting our best foot forward.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't telling you about everything. I ain't telling you about the angry side, and so I don't, there might be a tendency where I don't talk about those things until it just, until we hit something. Like, say a couple is, they're talking about moving in together,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know nothing about how you spend your money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your credit rating is. I don't know how you manage your bank account. You know, I don't know how clean or dirty you are, so, so yeah, I think when there's things that we don't talk about or we purposely hide,
Right.
there's going to be a situation where something is going to happen, something is going to come up, and it's going to feel like you just slapped me, you know, not literally, but
Seemingly out of nowhere, Carla says,
right,
agreed.
Carter. It
Agreed.
seems like it's coming out of nowhere,
But
but it
it,
may not be coming out, because it may be something that I saw or I noticed, and I was
mm-hmm.
like, nah, that ain't. We ain't gonna worry about that right now, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I want you to move in and help me pay my bills.
Trap him, got him.
I got you. You know,
Right.
And I'm not saying like we're looking to necessarily, or some people are manipulative, but I'm not saying we're looking to be manipulative. But
Right. Just to
you
have
know,
a partner. Yeah.
hey, I am the first one to be honest about, I have seen things, relationship wise, dating,
Mm-hmm.
behavior, attitude, and I was like, oh, it's okay. It'll be all right.
Hmm.
It ain't okay. It wasn't
So
all right, so it
so
happened.
you know how to juggle red flags real good. Is that what you're saying?
I've gotten better. I've gotten better.
No more of that. I mean, actually, I've been there. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember there was a YouTube video The guy is literally doing this because the guy is talking to a girl, and the guy is waving a red flag in her face, like, do you not see the trouble you are getting in? And you know what? Sometimes we are that blind. We just
Oh yeah.
choose to ignore that.
Right. You said the perfect word, choose. We choose to ignore it. When we feel like, oh no, that ain't gonna be a problem. We could, you know.
I mean, some are hopeless romantics that they're willing to bypass those red flags, just ignore them and get their poor heart broken over and over again because of love.
Yeah, it's okay if you snort cocaine. It's all right.
Oh, this is just a phase. He'll get out of it. Right.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So, I know through all these a lot of these things that we spoke of, if anyone feels that they fall in this category, kind of share with them what you feel the best step they can do to help them, if they are in a relationship or not.
Well, one of the books that I highly recommend, whether you in a relationship or not, is Getting the Love You Want by Harville Hendrix. And the reason I recommend that book is because it really looks at the mechanics and the dynamics of coming together in a relationship. And it helps you to look at personally, individually, who are you, and what are you bringing to the relationship? And not only that, like, what triggers me? What things have been a part of my past or my history that I'm not saying focus on the past. I'm not saying the past is the past. Leave it where it is. Leave it there. You don't need to bring that into your present. But it's just understanding what are my own pitfalls, because I need to be able to identify and explain to my partner what's going on with me. And I need to do it in such a way that is not accusatory towards my partner. So I think going through that process, it helps prepare you, much better and on a deeper level before engaging into a relationship.
Agreed.
So
people having a hard time to be honest is it's hard for me to understand, because I want to be transparent. I want to be, here I am, here's my shortcomings, and when it's not reciprocated, it's such a letdown,
Yeah,
See.
because and I've talked with some of my friends, in this age of technology, we kind of give, not we individually, but I think like there's this thing of you can always find better,
Yeah.
like no matter how good, quote unquote, good this person is, you can have the pedigree, you can have the good resume and all of that, but sometimes in today's society we're like, I can do better. I'm gonna go back to this app, and it's like, and I'm not saying that's everybody's attitude, but
Right.
I think that plays a part a lot in the dynamics today.
You're right. And I mean, with technology, you really don't know what you're gonna get these days.
Oh no.
Because the filter game be strong on some of these young ladies. I'm like, dag. You don't know what you're getting.
Oh, that's a whole nother topic.
Hey, we may need to talk about that right there.
Yeah.
So D-Ray says most red flags get ignored because one person believes they have the power to change / mold the other.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement. And I think one of the biggest things that's important in any relationship is acceptance. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if I'm constantly communicating rejection, or I'm constantly feeling rejected no matter what the other person is doing or saying,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be problematic.
So Miss Lady says, how do you avoid being repetitive with the same past situations?
Ooh, she would ask me a hard question.
You think she gonna give you something easy?
I'm gonna get my sister though.
She had that fist clenched up for the whole show. Think on ass 3 minutes left.
Yeah. Don't hit me with the elbow, like.
You know?
um, how to avoid repetition? Yeah, I think. Well, there may be some things that need to be repeated, but um, yeah, I think it kind of goes back, to what I was talking about in terms of investigating with yourself, what issues you have or what triggers have been present, in your past and and now, like what kind of things trip me up, um because for some of us it's like the closer we get to someone, the more anxious we feel, and the
Mm-hmm.
more we may find ways to bring about distance.
Mm-hmm.
um there may be some things, subconsciously that we're running away from, and we can repeat that same pattern with every person that we meet. And it's like every time we get to a certain point, it's like, no, I'm out. No, I'm done. No, I'm gone. And it's like we have to look at that. Like, if I've been doing this for a long time, like, at
Mm-hmm.
what point do I become afraid and start running?
Mm.
So,
That sounds like a whole nother topic, to be honest. I was thinking about that, talking about fear. Like, shoot, even fear in intimacy. There's people who are afraid to be intimate.
afraid to be close. Yeah.
You might have to
Because,
say that.
yeah, last time I was close, I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to definitely tap into that next week. So that'll be something to look into.
okay.
Oh, all right, boys and girls. We are about to transition. So, but most of all, thank you for stopping by. Miss Tori, do you have anything you'd like to say before we head out?
No, just want everybody to have a wonderful weekend. Um, Maybe get that book, Getting the Love You Want, is good. Good. Start diving into that. But other than that, have a good, wonderful, prosperous weekend. Love y'all. See you next week.
Indeed. Everybody, please be safe and we'll see you next week. Have a good night.